Today I'm going to show you the easiest way to collect information for commissions. I don't take commissions often, but when I do, I use a Google form to collect information from the commissioner about their commission idea, their contact information, and anything else that I need to know. So I'm going to walk you through the Google form and show you how it works, and also show you some cool integrations so that you have some automation set up. So what's the point of the form? Well, for one, it stops or at least prevents somewhat scammers, because a scammer is probably not going to want to go through the effort of filling out a form just to steal money from you. They want easy targets. Two, it keeps all of the information that I want in one place. And three, it gives people an easy way to get into contact with me. If I ever were to close commissions, which I usually do over the holidays, I just set the form to not accept responses, and then people know when they enter my commission page, if it says this form is not accepting responses, my commissions are closed. So it's an easy way for people to get in contact with me and to know when my commissions are open or closed. So this is the Google form in its back-end view, and if I want to preview it, this is what it looks like in the front end. You can see there's different pages. So how I set that up is I first have a little introduction and a link to my Trello board, which shows my commission queue. And it's separated into requested, and this fills out automatically when people respond to the form, and then I can move it to accepted, in progress, and finished when I've finished them. Like I said, I don't take commissions too often, so this doesn't get too full, but the first and most important thing on this form, in my opinion, is the terms and conditions. And what I do is on page 1, the only thing that's on here is the terms and conditions and a button that says that they agree to those terms and conditions. So they cannot progress until they agree to the terms and conditions. I also include the exact same terms and conditions on my website and also on my invoice form, with a stipulation that by paying the invoice, you also agree to the terms and conditions. And this protects me a little bit in case somebody does something like mint an NFT out of my commission. I've never had anybody do that before, but in case some random person did, I would be able to point to this and say, you agreed not to do that. So after the terms and conditions, the next few pages are a little bit specific to how I handle my commissions. So you can see that I split mine up between the amount of the body that I'm drawing and also the amount of coloring and shading that I'm doing. I have my form pages set up to let people select which one of these they want in a modular manner, but your form might be set up differently because you might handle this differently. So I first give them just a quick example of how my commissions work, and then I let them input their information. Their nickname will appear publicly on this Trello board, so I request that they don't put anything that's personally identifiable. And then I ask for their contact information, obviously, so that I can contact them about the commission. Social media handles if they want me to tag them. A question if they are okay with me streaming their commission. This is because I live stream twice a week on Wednesday and Thursday mornings. If you haven't followed me on Twitch, you should do that. And if I have a commission and I don't have anything planned for the live stream, if they say that they're okay with me streaming the commission, I might do that. This is not a guarantee, and I've only streamed commissions a few times, but it does happen sometimes if the customer is okay with it. So after they've filled out their contacts, it comes to the first section, which lets them choose how much of the character they want me to draw. So there's bust, waist, and full body. And that's all that they're selecting in this section. And if I click into this, there's this option here that says, if they answer with bust, go to section 4. If they answer with waist, go to section 5, and if they answer with full body, go to section 6. So once they've selected either bust, waist, or full body, it will take them to the corresponding section. So let's go to the bust section, right? So if they selected bust, then the next thing that they'll be doing is selecting lined, flat colors, or shaded. And because I split it up, it also lets them select the price, basically. After this section, it goes to section 7, other details, because I want it to skip section 5 and section 6, since they didn't select waist and they didn't select full body. So the other two sections are basically an exact copy of this section that I just showed you bust, except with different prices. Like I said, you might set your commissions up differently, therefore your form will be set up differently. But if you have any kind of choice that needs to go to a specific section, so the way you set that up is you click this little drop down underneath here, and you click go to section based on answer. And then that will pull up this drop down of all of your sections. Now, once they've chosen their size and their coloring style, we can move on to the last section, which is everything else. So if they have more than one character, I let them tell me how many other characters will be in this, or no additional characters. I do make a note here that additional characters will increase the price. The next thing that they get to choose is a background, and I will do simple backgrounds for free, whether that be a transparent background, a solid color, or a basic gradient. None of that is an extra price. However, if they want to add a more complicated background, I don't give them a price immediately on this sheet, because it really depends on how complex that background is going to end up getting. I've had everything from, can you put this character next to a wall, to can you draw a whole freaking cityscape in the background? This changes so much that it really, really depends on what the background is. So I will discuss that with the commissioner, and then when I invoice, it will be included in the invoice. So I don't put an exact price on here. So this is where the commissioner gets to describe everything about the commission that they want me to know. What the character looks like, what the character's attitude is, anything special about the character like scars, hair color, weight, height, any of that. Anything that the commissioner can think of goes here. And then I have a second section for, is there anything else that I need to know about this commission? Maybe it's a gift for somebody. Maybe they need it by a certain point in time. Maybe this is like, I need it by the end of this month for this reason. Maybe they're starting a D&D campaign and they need their D&D character token. I don't know, just anything that I am not able to think of myself, but the commissioner might think of. I just leave an extra space for them to give me any additional information. The next question is a link to any visual references. If they have files, I have a section in here that says, please wait for approval and then send them to me. So whatever contact that we agreed upon, whether that be email or Discord, I'll contact them when the commission is approved, and then they can send me any visual reference files that way. But if they just have them as links, then they can just link it here. So the next two questions are for the invoice. I invoice via Stripe because I find that easy and secure. So I send the invoice. I don't let people just send me money without me invoicing them. That way, the invoice acts as a record. So in case anything goes wrong and there's a dispute that happens, say a chargeback happens, I've never personally had that happen to me, but in case it does, I can point to this invoice and say, this person agreed to the terms of service and paid the invoice, and here's all of the contact proving that I delivered what they asked me to deliver, and hopefully that should help in the case of a chargeback. But these two questions are just, what's the invoice email? What email can I send this to? And what is your legal name? So none of these will ever be publicly displayed anywhere. They are just for me to use on the invoice document. And the last question here is just an agreement that commissions are first come, first serve. I have the right to deny a commission. So here's what it looks like to fill out. So obviously the first page, we agree to this. And then I give my nickname, Test Hi. Contact info, test@test.com. Twitter handle @test. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna leave this blank because leaving it blank signifies that I am not okay with this image being posted and tagged on social media. Oh, one thing that I do want to make a note of here is that in my terms of service, I do reserve certain rights to the artwork, including but not limited to posting the finished image in my portfolio as an example. So I do let people specify if they would like me to withhold for a certain date, but I do always reserve the right to at least post it in my portfolio. But if you're not comfortable with me tagging you, then just leave this blank. And then no, I will say I'm not okay with this being live streamed because this is a fake person. So this section is, again, outlining how much of the character I want to be drawn. So say I want a full body commission. And when I hit next, it will automatically take me to this section, which is full body. So we have bust, waist, full body, and it's taking me to this section. And then say I want it to be a flat color drawing. It doesn't really matter. I'm just picking an example to show you. No additional characters, solid color background. Just a dude doing his best. Obviously, I'm not going to actually invoice test at test.com, and then once you acknowledge that this is first come, first serve, etc., and you hit submit, we can see the response show up in the form, and then also we can link it to Google Sheets and have it show up here. The way that you set up a Google Sheet that is linked to your form is in setup destination for responses, and then responses are currently being sent to this spreadsheet. So I'm not going to mess with this, but basically it will create one automatically for you when you set this up. But you set up a Google spreadsheet for responses to get sent to, and then they will get sent to the sheet. And then the last thing that we do is I have an automation set up on the site Zapier, which automatically creates a Trello card when I get a new Google form response. So basically all it does is once it sees a new response in the Google form that I've linked, it creates a new card on Trello. So I have this commission queue, and you can already see the new card right here. And all it does, because I don't want any personal information being shared, all it does is share the name, and the description becomes composition full body, because that's what I chose, and then rendering flat color, because that's what I chose. So my Trello, which this is public, does not have any personal information on it. It just shares the nickname and then the commission type. So there's no other information about this, but it does let me get a notification that I've gotten a new form response. So that is how I personally handle commission requests, and that's how I send them to a public queue so that other people can see how full it is and I can check on it as well. I also want to show off the page on my website that this is linked to. So this is my commission page on my website, MadameBerry.com. And I also have the form embedded in here. So I can simply direct somebody to MadameBerry.com/commission, and it will automatically direct them to this page that has my terms of service, the full commission form embedded on the page, this menu, I suppose you could call it, with the different price points that I have, and also a larger portfolio of more of my commission examples. So I typically don't direct people to the form itself. I typically direct them to this page because it has more information and more examples on it. So that is everything. If you have any questions about that, how to set up the form, how to set up the automations, or anything, let me know in the comments and I can do my best to help answer some of those. And also, if there's anything else that you would like to add it in the comments below too, and we can have a discussion. If you'd like to keep watching, you can check out my latest video over here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay weird.